that.
And the Niners and Harbaugh have consciously uncoupled, and he signs the deal in Ann Arbor, roughly about $5 million a year per 7 years of the contract, incentive-laden, as reported by John U. Bacon, who's been all over this Harbaugh stuff apparently, and has a funny name. Let's not.
Yeah, that counts.
Much less than the 6-year, $48 million contract that everyone and their mother reported early on. But this is big, both for Michigan and the Big Ten. This is big.
And I think it's big for John Harbaugh. I mean, reports came out that he didn't want to leave. You know, he told, who was it he told? Somebody that, hey, I would stay in San Francisco if I could. I think it was a player. It was recorded that he told a player that. And then you see him at that press conference. And I'm not at all a Jim Harbaugh fan. I mean, he gets on my nerves. I think he's awkward. He's just a weird human being. But he seemed a million pounds lighter. He was happy. I mean, you can't fake that kind of relief, I don't think. And I think it was good for him, too. So everybody wins except for the 49ers. And let's talk about the hot mess that Jed York has created in San Francisco.
Jed York is used to getting his way. You can tell he's kind of an egomaniac. And who cares who gets the credit if you win?
Mm-hmm. Well, and his thing, and I listened to that interview that he did on KNBR in San Francisco the day after it was announced on last Monday. Was the day the interview was conducted. And the radio host was not a fan of this move, and he grilled Jed York. And Jed York just kept going back to this one line. Yes, we were winning, but we want to win with class. And so now you're interviewing the Detroit Lions defensive coordinator for your head coaching spot. But it was so important to you to win with class. To me, it makes no sense as to what they did, because you can blame Jim Harbaugh for the missteps of those defensive players who couldn't play because of legal situations and whatever. But your guy, Trent Baalke's still there. I mean, I don't see anything happening to him. Obviously, it was something else.
And I never understood the whole class thing, because Harbaugh is a little rough around the edges, except he's never done anything that would signify that he's
right.
cheating or does not have class or anything like that. He just seems like a hard-headed, straight-ahead football coach, and it could be a whole lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, possibly, that we don't know about.
They're trying to get one over on the public, and it's like, just either say you're not going to talk about it and don't go on the radio and don't go talk about it, or else own what it really is. Because this facade is fooling nobody, and everyone just grows to question you and distrust the way you're running this organization. But, that ain't my business. I don't live in San Francisco, and I don't really care about the 49ers.
And I do feel bad for 49ers fans, because I know it was a down year this year, but 2 NFC title games as well as a Super Bowl appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever you get in there ain't going to be better than that. I'm not going to lie. And
ain't going to do it.
Rex is supposedly going to be interviewing for the job. And I love Rex, but when you say Rex Ryan, classy is not the first word that comes to mind.
That's the truth. I mean, it's just the contradictions that come out of San Francisco have been ugly. Just ugly.
It's how quickly they forget the Mike Nolan, Mike Singletary years where they were bad. They were ass terrible.
Oh, God. I lived in the Bay Area during the Singletary years, and I just had pity on that organization.
Like, I remember there was a game where San Francisco and Arizona, who were both terrible at the time, played in Mexico City for some reason. And I was just like, why did we do this to the Mexicans? Why are we sending our garbage down there?
Oh, my gosh. You're awful.
And Jed York, if I'm a 49er fan, I'll be pissed off, because this roster is not built to win long term, because they do have a lot of their major parts are aging. Justin Smith is retiring. Patrick Willis, who knows how long he's got left. Kaepernick, he's a big question mark. And, if you bring in Rex Ryan, unless Rex brings in an offensive guru to be his counterpart, he's going to ruin Kaepernick just like he did Sanchez, just like he did Gino.
Yep. Completely agree. And if Kaepernick is your guy going forward, I just don't even know.
And also Frank Gore's whole it seemed like he was saying goodbye to everyone and everything in that last game. He brought in pizza for the media. He was just glad-handing everyone, equipment guys and everything. It just seems like he could see the writing on the wall. I think Frank Gore might be done.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to say, but, man, he keeps on producing when you put the ball in his hands. Mm. I don't know.
Also, Crabtree, ain't nobody got time for that. And you got to think, you're in a competitive division where you could easily be on the bottom next year. It's not inconceivable that St. Louis gets some stability at quarterback, rises up, and Arizona keeps on doing what they're doing, and then Seattle is, of course, going to be Seattle for a while.
Yeah. I mean, you're in a good division, and you just got rid of one of the best coaches in the NFL. San Francisco, I pity you, man. That's lame.
Yeah. Speaking of lame, what else we got? Oh,
Me?
Manziel and Gordon.
Oh,
my God. Really?
I can't. I washed my hands of him. I can't do it anymore. All right, so I can't defend him. I can't do anything for him.
All right, so here's the timeline of what we know. Johnny Bay Manziel threw a party Friday night, allegedly. Gordon attended and then was suspended Saturday for the Browns' Week 17 game for missing a team meeting, which is fine. Also, the big thing with Gordon, since he was suspended the first 10 weeks of the year, he loses a year accrued towards free agency, which is big for him.
Big.
Still on that rookie contract since he was only active for 5 games, or not suspended for 5 games, however the wording is. Manziel was fined for being late for treatment, and he also apologized, saying he needs to stop being a jackass. So, seems like Cleveland wants to trade the hell out of Gordon. I'm sure there'll be a couple waiting partners. And Manziel, it seems like Petten hates Manziel, and I'm not.
Why wouldn't you?
I don't really fault him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm an Aggie, okay, and I'm not the bleed maroon Aggie, whatever. But I have grown to despise him, and I didn't like him personally. I liked him on the football field when he was in A&M. But, man, this is just bad. He goes out and says how seriously he needs to take his career in the NFL and yada, yada, yada. And then the next night, he's throwing a party that causes himself and Josh Gordon to basically have security looking for them the following day.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't. I cannot. I'm just white girling. Can't. I can't do it. Can't deal. Cannot fathom what would get into someone's brain to act so foolish.
It's, I don't know. Josh Gordon, his off-the-field troubles are documented, and I feel like he is one strike away from being banned for multiple years, possibly the rest of his career. And
it's sad. The talent there. Oh, my God, the talent.
Yeah.
Wasting.
Vikings Twitter has been kicking around. What would we give up for Josh Gordon right now? Because he had his breakout year in Norv Turner's system, and Norv is obviously going to be in Minnesota for a while. I would trade Cordero straight up for Josh Gordon and a pick.
Oh, yeah, in a heartbeat. I mean, because when you see what he can accomplish on the field just due to raw talent, he's an amazing player. Mm-hmm. If he can stay on the field and stay out of trouble, that would make him like a legit all-pro annual guy that you could have on your team. You need someone who can show him why this matters right now.
And then Cordero, on the other hand, not to go on a tangent or a rant, but just doesn't want to seem to put in the work. And just doesn't have those soft skills that you need to be a solid NFL wide receiver. He can't get separation. He can't run routes properly. It doesn't seem like he wants to learn.
Gosh, he could. I mean, he could be something.
Yeah, he's Josh Cribbs right now. He's just a solid special teamer who will never find a place as a wide receiver right now. I mean, it's going to be up to him. This is going to be a really big offseason. If he wants to be elite, the wide receiver that we're all hoping for, this offseason is going to determine it. Because otherwise, right now, he's Devin Hester.
Yep. Well, he wishes, but yeah. Okay.
From the U. And Manziel, I don't know.
Manziel's a waste of space, man.
If you were Cleveland, what would you do? Would you keep Hoyer and Manziel for one more year, see what shakes out, or what?
What choice do you have? I mean, there are way more NFL teams than there are starting quarterbacks. It's just the fact of the matter. There are not 32 worthy starting quarterbacks who exist in America. There just aren't. It's like there aren't 32 worthy NFL coaches who reside in this country. So someone's going to suck, and apparently it's going to be the Cleveland Browns.
Poor Cleveland Browns. It's kind of funny because if the Vikings, when they're flirting about moving to London or LA, I was like, if they move, I'm going to pick another team. I might pick the Cleveland Browns because it's almost sadomasochistic where I just love that pain, and Cleveland always seems to have it.
I feel that way about Jacksonville. I love Jacksonville, even though they're a division rival. They're not really a rival.
I love taking a break, and we'll be right back for our last segment of this week's Claire-vs-Carlson Show. We'll be talking about Teddy Bridgewater and make our wildcard NFL picks. BRB. The Purple for the Win podcast is your one-stop shop for the team you hate that you love. That's right, dedicated to the pain and pleasure that is the Minnesota Vikings. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube for our weekly and bi-weekly mediocrity. And, of course, there's always purpleftw.com. Because, aside from nipple clamps and chains and whips, cheering for the Purple People Eaters is probably the most pleasurable pain you can experience on this planet. So come on in for the mediocre analysis and the more mediocre humor. PurpleFTW.com. That's right, PurpleFTW.com.
Straight cash, homie.
And we are back for the final segment of this week's Claire-vs-Carlson Show, and a lot of interesting stuff going on. I found out that Claire will aid and abet the securing of alcohol to underage minors.
Only if their daddy says it's okay.
Who knew? You probably call him Dada, too.
Don't be perverse.
Oh, okay. Speaking of perverse, Teddy Bridgewater, last 5 weeks of the season were very, very perverse. Pro Football Focus's number 2 rated quarterback over the final 5 weeks of the season, above Aaron Rodgers, above Tom Brady, above Peyton Manning, and he also had a quarterback rating of 103.0 during that time, as well as 72.1% completion. Is that good? Is that okay?
It's all right. I would take it on my team. Oh, wait.
Now, see, this is usually where I point out that Teddy was drafted 32nd overall, and where did the Texans draft?
I don't want to talk about it.
It's okay. It's okay.
I left the door wide open for you, and now I'm slamming it shut in your face. Fine.
But I just wanted to put that in there because I'm sold on Teddy. I'm in love with this kid. He is it's going to be strange. In 5 years, we're going to look back, and the Bridgewater Manziel debate, which was a very closer run thing up here in Minnesota. There's a lot of Vikings fans who wanted Manziel at 8, where the Vikings ultimately traded down to 9, took Anthony Barr, and then Manziel went going to 22 to Cleveland. And, man, because Teddy is behaving himself on Friday night, probably having like a glass of warm milk and, I don't know, like a pita pocket or some Oreos or something, and just chilling, watching The Wire, or not doing crazy stuff like Manziel.
Well, you like to think that. I like to think that about the Texans, too. But I think we don't know the personalities involved well enough to determine whether or not that's true.
But see, with Teddy, yeah, I don't think I've heard the kid say like more than 6 words.